good leadership skills. And you need people whose goal it is to pull people together. People need to feel the potential to create a better tomorrow.
Hey guys, this is Tommy of Tommy Nation Politics.
Mr. President!
How's everyone
Are
doing
you
today?
concerned about a potential UAW strike, sir?
Free thinking, innovative, totally open-minded. Tommy Nation Politics.
The council waits for you.
There should be a circumstance where jobs that are being displaced with new jobs. They should go to the first choice should go to the UAW member who had the job, and the salary should be commensurate.
Have you seen Donald Trump's website yet? Mr. President, are you worried at all about that?
I did see it on television. Nancy Brown.
What brought down this airplane? Have you got any solid information about that?
I'm not at liberty to speak to that precisely, but as you know, because you and I have talked about this, I find no surprise what happened. But we're trying to nail down precisely. I don't have anything to say about that.
Mr. President, can you say anything about the uptick of COVID cases and the new variant?
Yes, I can. Matter of fact, I signed off this morning on a proposal to present to the Congress a request for additional funding for a new vaccine that is necessary, that works. And tentatively, not decided finally, tentatively it is recommended that, it will likely be recommended that everybody get it, no matter what they got.
What was your take of the Republican debate on this today?
I don't remember them speaking to any of the issues. I mean, there was a lot of talk. What are they going to do to deal with economic growth? What are they going to do to deal with the notion that maintaining the job pace that we have now? What are they going to do to deal with education? They talk about education like it was Department get rid of the Department of Education, cut 100,000 teachers. I kept trying to figure out. I didn't watch the whole debate. I got a phone call from the party, but I didn't learn much.
The indictment? I have no comment on that.
Mr. President! Possible protests in the wake of the indictment?
No, I'm not going to talk about Trump's indictment.
Because guess what has every major crime bill that's gotten this far been? A Democratic crime bill.
Good Caiaphas, the council waits for you.
Republicans are finding out it's no longer
The Pharisees and priests are here for you.
What has every major crime bill that's gotten this far
Gentlemen,
been?
you know why we are here.
Democratic crime bill. A Democratic president. Lots of 100,000 cops. A Democratic president wants to build another 25,000 new prisons.
That's the secret. They're bringing drugs. They're bringing crime. They're rapists.
Here's the deal.
I dreamed DC consultants counseling this man who goes by the name Brandon, aka Joe Biden. He was a little confused, demented old man. And yet the men around him all but sighed and planned their schemes and lies. And then they faxed their lies to media propaganda. They wove their talking points. Fact-checked. Yes. And then I saw thousands of millions voting for this man. Then I heard them mentioning a name, left Donald Trump to blame.
Did you watch Trump's speech with the Democrats?
No, I didn't.
Mr.
I didn't have an interest or any inclination.
Mr. President, on your supplemental request to Congress, there are some Republicans who want to split up the disaster aid and Ukraine aid. Is that a possibility to you at all to make sure some sort of money passes Congress? Because they have a concern with the Ukraine aid.
Mr. President, are you planning to sit for an interview with the special counsel looking into the documents matter?
There was no such request and no such interest.
Thanks, guys. Thank you.
Okay?
How much of the debate did you see?
I probably did. I mean, I was in and out because of the call, but I probably, what I saw consecutively, I probably saw at least an hour and 20 minutes.
Well, that's about most.
Well, you know what I mean. No, I got the gist.
How are you like the Tahoe, sir? How are you like the Tahoe?
I'll tell you, if I had your biceps, I'd feel better.
Okay, everybody, we have to
Let's turn to NBC News Chief White House correspondent Kristen Welker, who's been patiently waiting for us. I appreciate it. Kristen, I want to ask about politics. There's a New York Times Siena College poll out today. It asked registered voters nationwide last week if the 2024 presidential election were right now, who would get your vote? And it's a dead heat between President Biden and former President Trump, 43% each. But when you look at the voters who say, I don't like either of them right now, Biden gets a slight edge. I'm wondering if that means that the impact of all these indictments might be greater politically than what we have thought.
We just surveyed the damage. I want you to know, whatever it takes, as long as it takes. I look at your congressmen and senators and governor and lieutenant governor. We're going to get it done for you. But get it done the way you want it done, not get it done somebody else's way. No, I mean it. I don't want to compare difficulties, but we have a little sense, Jill and I, what it's like to lose a home. Years ago, now 15 years ago, I was in Washington doing Meet the Press. It was a sunny Sunday, and lightning struck at home on a little lake that's outside of our home, not a lake, a big pond, and hit a wire and came up underneath our home into the heating ducts, the air conditioning duct. To make a long story short, I almost lost my wife, my 67 Corvette, and my cat. But all kidding aside, I watched the firefighters, the way they responded. You know, there's an old expression. I grew up right across the street from a fire hall in Claymont, Delaware.
Hi.
And the expression is, God made man, then he made a few firefighters. You're all crazy, thank God. The only people who run into flames to help other people. And they ran into flames, saved my wife, and saved my family. Not a joke. The smoke and the firefighters here can tell you sometimes smoke is so thick from the windows out, it was that thick inside the home. And we were insured. We did not have any problem, but being out of our home for a better part of a year was difficult. I can only imagine what it's like to lose your home completely, burned to the ground, and more importantly, all the things that matter to you from that ring he gave you when you were 19 years old.
What's the deal?
From that special letter that came for your son or your daughter.
Here's the deal.
The little things that matter most. The album, the family albums.
Here's the deal.
All of it is a touchstone.
Here's the deal.
All the things we care about.
This is what I'm talking about, guys. Tommy Nation Politics.
2 or 3 words. What would define your campaign?
Standing up to the billionaire class.
Tommy Nation Politics.
50% of our people who are living paycheck to paycheck. And as we speak tonight, half of our people in this country, the richest country in the history of the world, are living paycheck to paycheck.
Like people having health care and not killing the planet. And the more those demographic groups move away from the party, the easier it is to keep the establishment firmly in place.
Hey guys, this is Tommy with Tommy Nation Politics. How's everyone doing today?
We're moving forward at a pace that was unimaginable just a short time ago, and we are never, ever going back.
President Joe Biden and First Lady Jill Biden traveled to the island of Maui yesterday in the wake of a devastating brush fire. After landing, the president took a helicopter to survey local damage and then met with local officials and survivors. Let's hear what the president had to say when he finally visited Hawaii.
Well, hello, people of Maui. You've shown such absolute incredible courage. That's not hyperbole. I want you to know, on behalf of the United States of America, all the nation, the American people stand with you. For as long as it takes, we're going to be with you. The whole country will be with you.
In further remarks, Biden called upon his experience with a small house fire.
I don't want to compare difficulties, but we have a little sense, Jill and I, what it's like to lose a home. Years ago, now 15 years ago, I was in Washington doing Meet the Press. It was a sunny Sunday, and lightning struck at home on a little lake that's outside of our home, not a lake, a big pond, and hit a wire and came up underneath our home into the heating ducts, the air conditioning duct. To make a long story short, I almost lost my wife, my 67 Corvette, and my cat. But all kidding aside, I watched the firefighters, the way they responded. You know, there's an old expression. I grew up right across the street from a fire hall in Claymont, Delaware.
Per an AP report about the 2004 incident, the fire in the Biden home was a, quote, small fire that was contained to the kitchen.
The president tweeted yesterday, "We're in this for as long as it takes, and we're going to rebuild the way the people of Maui want to rebuild." But this viral video is circulating now that appears to show Biden nodding off during a ceremony in Maui. Here is that.
Never been before. We are a community that relies on family, on ohana, whether by blood or by friendship. But like many others, my son's home burned down. My daughter's home burned down.
You think he'd be well rested since he cut a holiday short to go to Maui long after some people thought he should have been on the scene. So what do you make of him both nodding off and how he chose to try to connect with the audience there by relying on his own personal experiences with the small house?
I guess I see why he reached for that anecdote, because it is fire-based, but it just doesn't seem at all serious on the level of what happened. It felt, when he brought up the Corvette, it just sounded a little, it sounded very tone-deaf to me. And obviously this is a man who has dealt with tragedy in his life.
The Maui community is helping the Maui community. And it's really affected me because where's the president? He decides to come here this week, to come here next week. I mean, like, where aren't we Americans too? Like, we're part of the United States, but why are we getting put in the back pocket? Why are we being ignored?
That was an emotional resident of Maui there, calling out Joe Biden for his lack of presence in Hawaii. Ellis Sable-Tactarin joined CNN, where she questioned, where is the president? Why hasn't he visited yet to see the destruction and impact of the wildfires that have killed at least 114 people, with an estimated 1,000 still unaccounted for? Locals say these fires were unprecedented, with the Maui police chief even stating in a news conference that no one alive today has ever seen anything like this. Not the size, not the number, and we're not done. Ella questioned, is Hawaii not a part of the United States? Why is the president only now deciding to visit the destruction? The fires on the Hawaiian island began around August 8th, and even more than 2 weeks later. The full picture is not yet known, but it is estimated the rebuild will take years. After a week of backlash for not having seen the destruction for himself, Joe Biden will travel to Maui tomorrow morning with First Lady Jill Biden. His schedule reads, the President and the First Lady will see firsthand the impacts of the devastating wildfires, as well as discuss the recovery effort. While in Maui, they will also talk to survivors and thank first responders. But they won't be there long. Joe and Jill Biden will be gone by the evening and will return to Lake Tahoe, where they will spend the rest of the week on vacation. On Saturday, they will then return back to the White House. Biden's day trip to Hawaii comes on top of the fact that he's copped backlash for taking vacation days to lounge on a Delaware beach as Maui was experiencing the fires last week. The president was heavily criticised when he provided no comment to a reporter when he was asked about the fires.
Will you come talk about the Hawaii response, Mr. President?
RNC Research tweeted, since taking office, Biden has spent 373 days, 39.7% of his presidency, on vacation. The president was asked by a reporter about his trip to Hawaii, which was met with dismissal.
Can you tell us about your Hawaii trip, sir?
No, not now. I'm going to be leaving. I'll be there on Monday.
Why is it important that you go?
Thank you.
Sir, on the family issue. Thank you, Mr. President.
Despite Joe Biden's visit to Maui only taking place tomorrow, the Biden administration have announced several initiatives to help provide relief to citizens. To name a few things, over 1,000 federal personnel were sent to be put on the ground to assist with search and rescue teams, as well as help shelters and survivors' homes. $7 million in assistance was approved to help nearly 2,200 households, and 50,000 meals, 75,000 litres of water, 5,000 cots and 10,000 blankets and shelter supplies were distributed. But the lack of actual presence from the president on the ground in Hawaii has still angered some residents and Americans who took to social media to call out Joe Biden. The GOP page tweeted, Biden is on a week-long vacation in Lake Tahoe, a few days after he was on a beach vacation in Delaware, where he had no comment when asked about the Maui wildfire.
Kristen?
Well, it could be. I think that's the key, Kate. It's possible that these indictments are starting to have an impact on the general election, and that could have an impact on independent voters, for example, who could be crucial in this next general election. Think about what happened in 2020. President Biden beat former President Trump among independents 42 to 37%. So think about that. But think about the primary. We have only seen former President Trump get stronger, become more emboldened with each new indictment. In fact, we've seen a real spike in terms of his fundraising every time one of these new indictments comes down. And financially speaking, though, it gets a little bit more complicated because he has spent millions of more dollars, I should say his super PAC has, than he's brought in on his legal fees. So that's where the complication comes in. Another potential complication, we're starting to see some of his GOP rivals really sharpen their attacks. Ron DeSantis, for example, starting to say that these legal problems are piling up and are making him unelectable. So there's no doubt there's a real question hovering over the broader impact. We'll have to see what happens if, in fact, he is indicted yet another time.
The left-wing lunatics are trying very hard to bring back COVID lockdowns and mandates with all of their sudden fear-mongering about the new variants that are coming.
Twice impeached, 45 discredited the president's honor. Yet these MAGA simpletons won't end this. Donald Trump's is dangerous.
Trillions of dollars in payoffs to their political allies heading into the 2024 election. The COVID tyrant who wants to take away our freedom, hear these words: we will not comply. We will not comply. So don't even think about it.
He is dangerous.
We will not shut down our schools. We will not accept your lockdown.
He is dangerous. Now, gentlemen, the owners wait for you. They need a little resolution to their problem. Try to impeach him, try to entrap him, try to indict him, and nothing will work Every time we scheme about his disaster, his fundraising rises, Trump is berserk. Dossiers dodged him, Russiagate faltered. Now we are screaming, democracy threat. Every time we have something to smear him, it just backfires, it has no effect. Guys, we might just lose power. In polls it appears that we're tied with the Trump. Our approvals are sour. It's either Joe Biden or gonna be Trump. It's either Joe Biden or gonna be Trump. Be Trump, it's gonna be Trump. Either Joe Biden or gonna be Trump. Be Trump, it's gonna be Trump. What can we do, guys? His rallies are massive. Talks about nothing but inspires hope. And meanwhile, our candidate, Joe Biden, he's dying. Asleep in the basement, the POTUS has crashed. Nancy Pelosi can't save us. Our fate is clear, like the emperor's clothes. The old liberal world order ended abruptly by the MAGA folks. Ended abruptly by the MAGA folks. MAGA, by the MAGA folks. Ended abruptly by the MAGA folks. MAGA, by the MAGA folks.
Hey guys, this is Tommy with Tommy Nation Politics. How's everyone doing today?
Warning. You are about to enter a free-thinking, innovative, open-minded environment. Be advised.
Check 1, 2. Check 1, 2, 3.
Politics Tuesday Livestream.
Free thinking, innovative, totally open-minded. New independent progressive media. Tommy Nation Politics, guys. I'm here to give you some political commentary about the system. The system and how to understand the truth behind a machine. The machines, guys.
Two-party duopoly system, Democrat, Republican.
The Matrix is a system, Neo. That system is our enemy. When you're inside, you look around, what do you see? Businessmen, teachers, lawyers, carpenters. The very minds of the people we are trying to save. But until we do, these people are still a part of that system, and that makes them our enemy. You have to understand, most of these people are not ready to be unplugged. And many of them are so inert, so hopelessly dependent on the system, that they will fight to protect it. Were you listening to me, Neo? Or were you looking at the woman in the red dress? Look again.
Where was I? Yes. It's a matrix. It's a system. The Matrix is a system, Neo. That system is our enemy. And so, guys, if you're someone who doesn't bend to the will of the conventional wisdom, someone who rebels, who questions authority, who doesn't just watch the mainstream media and go along with all of the bandwagon mentality and mass hysteria, lies, and propaganda of mainstream political pundits, if you're someone who reaches out to critical thinking, empirical data, reasoning, and embraces your principles and values, you don't have to be right or left. Only free thinking, innovative, and open-minded, guys. If you're someone who's that, well, you're going to really enjoy my podcast. This is the Tommy Nation Politics podcast. You can catch us on www.tommynationpolitics.com, which is my website. It'll lead you to a link tree with YouTube channels, Trovo channels, Instagram channels, what else? Facebook channels, facebook.com/TommyNationPolitics. If you want to write to us, we'll always read your messages. If you're a partisan, though, I don't know if I'll respond because you'll be saying retarded things like, but Trump, but Biden. But this is a matrix, guys. And that's the truth. The matrix is everywhere. It's all around us. Even now, in this very room. You can see it when you look out your window or when you turn on your television. You can feel it when you go to work, can't you? When you go to church, when you pay your taxes. It is the world that has been pulled over your eyes to blind you from the truth. What is the truth? The truth is that you are a slave. Like everyone else, you were born into bondage. Even though the 13th Amendment outlaws slavery, guys, you were born into a prison that you cannot taste or see or touch. It is a prison for your mind. Unfortunately, as I look at the election landscape of the United States of America and see these two parties barely able to get votes from independents, holding on to two criminal families that have senile patriarchs of the rapist, racist mindsets. It's truly unfortunate that this is probably our last chance, guys. There's no turning back once we forget the foundational principles which we were founded on, once we let go of our principles and values. There's no turning back. You either take the blue pill or the red pill, guys. If you take the blue pill, the story ends and you wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to believe, right? Trump is the threat to democracy. Joe Biden is the worst president ever. You take the red pill and you stay in Wonderland. I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes, guys. Remember, all I'm offering you is the truth. Nothing more. Nothing less.
Hey guys, this is Tommy with Tommy Nation Politics. How's everyone doing today? Tommy Nation Politics.